Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast. Today we are going to have a discussion about different ideas of reforming this new Bangladesh. I'm Bipro, joined by Nushariyat, Samial Jadir, SM Jadul Karim, and Shoaib Amin. Today we explore why our youth keep immigrating and shedding blood and how your ideas can build a new Bangladesh. So if I ask you guys what is going around us and why does it feel like we are stuck in a escape room?
Hello, I'm Sami Aliver Mahin. I believe we are in a loophole. Bangladesh has always been known as a land of courage, sacrifice, and protest. Within just 60 years of independence, we faced it unbearably. From the Liberation War of 1971 to the democracy movement of 1990 to the Rana Plaza tragedy of 2013 to the student protest of 2018 and lastly the July uprising of 2024. Uh, our people have always gone to the streets, but why does it cycle continue? Why do people always need to protest to get their justice? Here is the story of Bangladesh through the lens of ethics. In 1971, Bangladeshis are treated as a second-class citizens under Pakistanis. They were used as a labor and money, but their culture and rights were denied. Philosopher Immanuel Kant said that people must never be used as a tools, but respected as human beings. The Liberation War was exactly that of a Kantian demand of dignity. Bangladeshis was born, but promise of dignity was not fully kept. After the independence, military rulers again took control. In the December 1990, students and people united to force General Ershad to step down. Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, thought that rulers must lead within kindness and moral example. Uh, when leaders lose virtue, harmony in society breaks. In 1990 movement proved this lesson. Bangladesh will not accept policies without morality. The garments industry in Bangladesh is the heart of our economy, but also the place of much pain. In April 2013, Rana Plaza collapsed, killing more than uh, 101,000 garments workers. Crackers were seen in the building, but workers were forced to do their work inside. Aristotle said justice comes from the virtues like honesty, fairness, and courage. But in Rana Plaza, none of these virtues were present. The tragedy showed that without virtuous leadership, laws and policies are meaningless. In 2018, two school-going children were killed by a bus in Dhaka. Their classmates came to the streets demanding safe roads. For days, children were directed traffic better than the adults. Chiaritic says morality is about protecting the vulnerability, but the protests showed that our state often fails to care for students, for workers, and for the poor. Lastly, in the July 2024, the government reinstated the quota system and students began protests. The response was violent. Hundreds were killed, including children and journalists. The July Revolution became a symbol of how broken policies can destroy trust. Uh, Here, every ethics were failed, dignity was denied, moral leadership collapsed, virtue was absent, and care of the people was ignored. So from 1971 to 2024, Bangladesh lived in a cycle. Policies failed, people protested, reforms come, then the cycle repairs. The way forward is not only new policies, but ethical policies. Policies of dignity, as Kant thought, policies of harmony that Confucius advised, and policies of virtue, as Aristotle explained. the policies of care where the state protects its people. Only then Bangladesh break free from endless borders and become a nation where peace, justice, and dignity belong to everyone. We should focus more on developing our policies based on ethics in every stage of our life rather than the prioritizing the materialistic development.
Thank you, Sami. Powerful insight. So, what about the application of these policies? Like, there are already a lot of policies that could have mitigated all these situations, yet we fail.
Well, as Mahin said, even after so many years of independence and so many revolutions, why our country is not developing at all? In my vision, there are two main concerns. One is lack of strong political vision, and another is the bureaucratic structure of our country. The bureaucratic structure of every country once followed the Weberian theory, where there should be authority hierarchy, a lot of rules and regulations within the system, division of labor, and it should be a career oriented profession. The structure of our bureaucratic system is so weak while developing, but strong while making people suffer. There are so many layers within the bureaucratic system that if our works need to be done, it takes a lot of time. The file grows from one section of the ministries from other section, and it rolls around, and this waste that valuable time for development. It waste the money of the country because there are so many layers of officers, starting from officers to peons to secretaries, etc. Another thing that needs to be corrected is the way the planning works towards the ministries. The ministries doesn't even plan anything with each other. There are different ministries for different kind of works. For example, if two ministries have to work, they're gonna do their work separately. Uh, they won't plan their thing together at all. If one ministry is WASA and another ministry is telecommunication, then they're gonna break the road separately, not at the same time. If the road is broken at the same time, the work can be done easily, but they won't do it. They are gonna break the road separately, and it's gonna both cost our uh, country the money and the time needed for work. That is one of the core reasons why our country is lacking behind, because none of the ministries is communicating with each other to do a basic work to develop the country at all. So, what are the vision for this? During 1980 to 1990, some of the Scandinavian countries uh, tried to reform their bureaucratic system, because yes, we can't think without bureaucratic system. In our country, the bureaucratic system works like it only works for a certain class of people, not for the whole country, not for all the classes of people. It mainly works for the rich or the one who really benefits the bureaucratic system. So the thing is, in 19 there was a research uh, that went through in 1980 to 1990 by the Scandinavian countries, that they tried to reform their bureaucratic system uh, by dismantling them into smaller units. The smaller units are going to compete against each other. They're going to focus on the work they have done. They're going to be responsible for what type of work they did. And and the main question will be if that was efficient or not. Depending on these aspects, they're going to adapt to each other. They're going to adapt to the work they're doing or not. They're doing, and they're going to think if these things are going to be needed for the future or not. It's more like they're going to implement the thoughts of the private sector to the administrative works. Um, s- if I have to think about uh, developing the bureaucratic system, it's not gonna happen in one day or 1 week. It will take time. The small steps for me should be that while taking the intake of these officers, the primary intake is the BCS exam. So while giving that exam, we should not only focus on merits. We should also focus on virtue also. And now the question might arise that uh, how are we gonna know if a person is virtuous or not? Uh, uh, let me let me tell you a bit of the history of bureaucratic system. It was all about it was first implemented by the Chinese people, and they implemented the Confucius philosophy that within the government it should be a mixture of both meritorious people and virtuous people. And one of the things that really needs to be done now, that we should implement a small exam on it, different type of ethics and culture or philosophy while taking the BCS exam. The selected candidates should give an exam on ethics and culture, so we can distinguish the thought process of different people who are gonna run the future administrative system.
Well, I agree with that, but he said that it's gonna take some years or months to apply this bureaucratic system. So, still, is there anything we can like think of immediate applicable?
Well, to be honest, actually, at this point, we need to think about everything in a long term, right? And there are actually two problems that is combining with each other. One is we are underdeveloped country or probably developing country, and another is we're densely populated. These two combines and makes us a house of corruption. Like we are always a champion of corruption. But when you think about changing the system or doing all the stuff, you cannot just change the system or take a step and end the corruption. It doesn't work like that, because when we are underdeveloped and we are overpopulated, we have a few resource, we have few earning source, and when you do not know actually what will be your next meal, it doesn't matter what is ethics, what is corruption. Probably you will not stop them, rather you join them, right? So there should be some solution to have ensure our meal, our basic rights.
I strongly believe that we need a degradation of education. We don't need all these graduates who ultimately remains unemployed. We must focus more on vocational study and find ways of employment. But the question is, will we go with the traditional vocational study? My suggestion is Bangladesh is entering a new era where population size, agriculture, and government reforms, but there are no longer enough to secure prosperity. The future will be defined by artificial intelligence, a technology that is reshaping economics and societies worldwide. For Bangladesh, embracing AI is merely an opportunity. It is a necessity for survival, growth, independence in the global order. Turning youth into a AI workshop, Bangladesh has a youth population more than 45 million people under the age of 25. But the challenge is every year over 2 million new graduates enter the job market, yet traditional employment opportunities cannot absorb them. By introducing a large scale AI AI trading, machine learning, and data science, Bangladesh can transform its youth into a global digital workshop. We can look at our neighbors. India's IT exports industry earns 250 billion annually, and much of it's now AI related. Bangladesh, with a fraction of the talent mobilized of AI, could earn billions in digital export instead of repaying only remittance for labor migration.
However, population is a problem, but there is another side of the coin. We still have a good number of young population, right? And at the same time, there are countries, a number of countries who are giving incentives to have kids. Why? Because they are lacking young population. Whatever you do, whatever system you make, if you do not have your workforce, eventually you'll fail. And we still have this opportunity. Like countries in Africa, they have a large number of young population. We still have a large number of young population. The point is making them a working young force, right? Who are skillful, who can serve us, who can serve others, who can serve others and provide us, right? So we are a country we are countries of the subcontinent, our subcontinental people follow Marx or Confucius, who more focus on the family ethics, like caring about each other. The Westerns have already destroyed their societal system or the family structure, everything. Uh, we still hold this ethical manners or the ethics or everything related to relation. We more focus on care ethics and all this stuff. What is important here is that utilizing this young population, there had been different stages of revolution, like the industrial revolution, then the revolution of information. Then after the COVID-19, there is going to come another level of revolution. What is that? After the COVID-19, everything has changed. The world politics, the food supply chain, the pharmaceutical companies and everything. And there is a very concerning part that many countries like America, Russia, China, they're buying lands in their own lands and in different continents, say mostly in Africa, because there is a large number of unused land. Why it is? It is of course concerning, and billionaires are also doing that. Why suddenly billionaires will buy a number of lands and all this stuff? There must be a plan, right? And the analysts say that the plan is basically controlling the food supply chain. So when you think about revolutions, when the information revolution came, our neighboring country, India, took the opportunity. They went to different countries like Silicon Valley and everywhere. They got the ideas what they are doing, right? How they will control the next world. And now we can see like Google, Microsoft, and all the big giants, they are full of Indian people. Now, if we become a bit farsighted, then we can see the next problem will come about the basic rights, like the food, the basic food, the clothes and everything. When you don't have food, when the billionaires or the Western countries control your food supply, you cannot do anything. We are countries who have been suffered from famine, a number of famines during the course of history. So what I suggest is that rather than focusing on the traditional industrial revolution, we make a generation of people who will be experts in agricultural sector. We'll send them to different countries, to different companies. They work there, they learn from them, they'll know how the syndicate works, how the syndicate is growing up, and then they'll come to our country. Even though they do not come to our country, they will still be Bangladeshis, right? They'll still part of us. So we need to be more focused on our ethics. Confucianism is our part of ethics. We focus more on families. We focus more on our people rather than state law, right? So when a Bangladeshi go to another country, that part of land becomes Bangladesh. What we should do, that we should understand this syndicate of food supply chain.